विनय जी अपना मूल्यवान समय में निकाल कर यहाँ आए हैं, तो हम उनसे आग्रह करेंगे कि पुस्तक का विमोचन वो करें। So now may I request Vinay ji to please share his words of wisdom with all of us on this occasion. Vinay ji.
A very good evening to all of you over here. The person for whom in a way we have all come together over here, Professor KSiddhartha, who is so immensely popular amongst his students and his colleagues as well. Besides him, all the other dignitaries sitting on the dais, especially Ambassador Deepak Vohra ji, my very good old friend Vijay Kranti ji, many dignitaries who are sitting in the audience, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by congratulating Professor Siddharth. Even though he is facing so many health-related issues, he didn't allow his resolve to complete this anthology of articles dampen in any way. And once he decides to do certain things, then he completes them. He is a real teacher, and I would say he is a living embodiment of the Indian concept of guru. And he is a guru to many people who are sitting on the dais and off the dais. And therefore, I must extend my hearty congratulations to Professor Siddharth and also salute his determination to complete this project. Coming to the subject, geopolitics redefined, let me confess that I am not a student of international relations as such. I am a student of political science, English literature, but this particular subject was never a part of my studies. But still, whatever insights I could gather while working as the President, Indian Council for Cultural Relations, I have realized that perhaps, and if I could say so in the context of this book as well, that although the title is about geopolitics, my humble submission is that today's geopolitics is also in a way influenced by geocultural issues. Because culture is going to be the central force to influence how the world deals with several challenges that the global community is facing. And perhaps no other country than India can show the path in such a situation. When Prime Minister Narendra Modi as Prime Minister visited the United Nations for the first time in 2014 for the UN General Assembly meeting, he said it very openly, very clearly, in a way very bluntly. He said that I am new to the international politics. For the first time I am coming to the United Nations. And having come over here, I got to know that there are many groupings. Some people say we are members of G7, some say we are G20, some say we are G70. But he said, I fail to understand that why on certain subjects which are haunting the entire humanity, there could be a G-all, and I think only an Indian Prime Minister can say so, that let us talk in terms of G-all. Because that is the crying need of the hour. And India, and not simply from the jingoistic perspective I am saying this, but if we delve deep into the cultural heritage that India possesses and that India can offer to the global community, I believe we all would realize that India has the onerous responsibility of showing the way to the global community. And there are at least 5 principal points which are aspects of Indian culture which make me believe that only we can perhaps show the path. For example, today, whether it is the crisis in the Middle East or in Europe, the issue is about identity and who is superior than whom. And in this context, I believe India alone can show the path because we have always believed in Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. We never said that ours is the only path. We never said that my way or highway. We never believed in any kind of monopolism, perhaps not even hegemonism. We believed Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti, which is our idea of spiritual democracy. And it is the spiritual democracy which eventually will have the last laugh. Because if one particular belief system believes that we are the only valid system and others are invalid, I am sure the global community is going to face innumerable challenges. And therefore, India shows the path, which is that of spiritual democracy, which is very well defined through Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. The second point is about our tradition of worshipping Mother Nature. Many of us and many traditional families, and especially the elder one in those families, start their day by seeking forgiveness of Mother Earth. Padasparsham kshamasvame is what we say. That is our idea of sustainability. The global community started thinking about sustainability maybe some 30 years before, and now the United Nations is talking about sustainable development goals. But sustainability was our prime concern, and we never talked about conquest over nature. We never said what we look for is confluence with nature. And if we go by this idea of confluence with nature, I think there would not be any conflict, and we can all take the path of sustainability. And therefore, that is the second important thing why I believe India alone can show the way to a confused global community. The third one, and this is very rampantly seen in, especially in the Western countries, where we come across a kind of a tug of war between extreme individualism and extreme kind of socialism or community life. And we know what happened in the ex-USSR and how many countries then liberated from the USSR. But they are also facing the challenge how to deal with ultra-individualistic tendencies. And I think here again India shows the way. Because our family system shows how do we balance between individualism and collectivism, if I may put it that way. Look at our family system. In our country, we don't have just uncles and aunts. We have chachi, mami, fufi. We don't have just cousins. We have a chachera bhai, a mamera. Every other individual relationship is identified and recognized with a specific title because we respect that relationship. And therefore, with that kind of an approach, we know the importance of individualism, but not at the cost of collectivism. We definitely regard the importance of individuality, individual relations, but that too within the umbrella of family. And therefore, this is the third important reason why I believe India alone can perhaps show the way. The fourth one, again, it is about our families, and globally we find how wokeism is dominating the global narrative for that matter. And there is some kind of a height of confusion that is being seen, especially in countries like USA and even in Europe for that matter. And people are talking about gender fluidity and all those kinds of very weird ideas in a way. Gender issues are important, no doubt about it. And we are for all gender equality. And there again, India shows the way with the model, with the ideal in a way of Ardhanari Nateshwar. If we believe that in every individual there is some feminine element and some masculine element, and both the elements peacefully coexist in an individual, no matter whether he is considered as man or she is considered as a woman. If we recognize that, there of course is no question of any conflict or any superiority or inferiority of any particular gender. And therefore, gender equality, in a way, is inbuilt in our cultural ethos. And if we appreciate this fact, then I believe all these wokeism-related ideas also don't stand any relevance. And in that context, again, I believe Indian culture perhaps has the ability to provide answers to the questions that the global community finds itself in the midst of. Lastly, our idea of Antyodaya. Even today, many countries believe that socialism is the only way, and there are other countries who believe that capitalism is the only way. Whereas we believe in Antyodaya, which is the most deprived should be considered as the most deserving when it comes to the distribution of the fruits of development. And that is the golden mean, that is the balance that we have been able to strike between ultra-capitalistic ideas and ultra-socialistic ideas. I believe global community would appreciate the importance of Indian philosophy, Indian worldview, and in that context, if we are able to communicate to the global community what India is all about. See, India is not just a map, a part of the map of Committee of Nations in the world. India is a living organism. India is a civilizational country. And therefore, India has to remain India. I would say that in the changing geopolitical realities, if global community has to remain a family, as what we believe in through the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. In fact, I realized that in the scriptures, we say Kutumbakam. We don't say Gruham. We don't say Samajam. We say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, because Kutumba or family is the fundamental unit of society. And therefore, if the global community, if the global family has to remain family, India has to remain India. And that is not something which is a given thing. Let me therefore underscore the fact that with these kinds of books, if we are able to spread awareness of about this fact that India has to remain India, a global family has to remain a global family, the responsibility certainly is on our shoulders as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vinay. What we always expect from a thinker, he delivered it. A very crisp and a very clear introduction of what India stands for, what Indian thought stands for, and what Indian society stands for. So thank you very much, Vinay ji, for sharing these thoughts with us.